all I gotta say is I was right. I told everyone there was gonna be no Unova remakes. There was no possible way. But everyone was trying to say, no, Max, you're an idiot. There will be Unova remakes, and this is why. And I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see Unova being touched. I don't see it happening. Anyways, guys, my name is MONADO Max, and today we had a Pokemon presentation today because today is Pokemon Day, the annual event. We had to wake up early this morning because Pokemon doesn't know how time zones work quite yet, and eventually they'll figure things out where I can wake up at a good time. But that was a tough Pokemon presentation to watch. I am not gonna lie to you. It's a 13-minute presentation. The first 11 minutes was a bunch of useless information, stuff that was actually making me fall asleep. When they showed Pokemon Sleep in the Pokemon Day presentation, I was just like, ooh, that bed looking really comfortable right now. They showed off all of the games that they update, and then they announced this new thing, Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, where you can open 2 packs of Pokemon cards through your phone and then swipe open the packs. And I don't get the point of that digital card stuff like that. I don't see that being exciting. But then they also announced the new Pokemon game. Now, it's called Pokemon Legends. We have another Legends game coming. It is a futuristic Pokemon game from what we can tell, and it's going to be set in Kalos, which I think if we were looking at a futuristic Pokemon game, Kalos is the best way to go with in terms of regions out there, because that has a lot of advanced Pokemon technology, if I remember those games correctly, compared to something like Sword and Shield, all those regions that those games are in. I think Pokemon being in Kalos makes sense, because I remember that game having a lot of advanced ideas in there, and they've already confirmed that Mega Evolution's coming back, because at the end of the trailer, that's what we got. We didn't get any gameplay. We don't know what this game is going to be, other than it's a futuristic game. They like drew it all out, and like, I don't know. I don't know if it has anything to do with drawing, because there was a lot of drawing into this reveal trailer. Now, the one thing I thought was very interesting behind this trailer is they said that it's going to release simultaneously in 2025. 2025 is obviously a Nintendo Switch 2. That's the year that the next Nintendo console comes out. Is this going to be a cross-hybrid game potentially? I don't know if I've ever seen them use the word simultaneously with Pokemon, so that makes me wonder that the wording there makes it seem like it could potentially be a cross-gen game. They're going to release it on both the Nintendo Switch and the Switch 2. Don't know if that's going to happen. We've also seen in the past that Game Freak will release games on old consoles, even with the next console in mind. We'll use Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 as an example here. Those games released while the Nintendo 3DS had already come out. So this just could be one of those things where, yeah, we'll have these Pokemon Legends ZA game come out when the Nintendo Switch 2 is already out, and you know, you can backwards compatibility, maybe an enhanced update that it runs better on the Switch 2. All we know is it's definitely coming out on the regular Nintendo Switch, which is very interesting that also we don't have a Pokemon game at all coming out this year, which tells me that Game Freak is actually listening. You guys did not realize Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, those games were very unplayable when they launched. For me, so many frame rate drops, I had to stop playing the game. Even Nintendo themselves had to like tweet out, we're listening, da-da-da-da-da, with the Pokemon Company, and it was a very bad release, and it was the most talked about thing with Scarlet and Violet. And I think the fact that we aren't getting a Pokemon game this year means that they're actually listening, because this is something that would seem that Game Freak would want out this year rather than next year, because this is probably coming out early 2025. I remember when Pokemon Legends Arceus came out, and when that was revealed, it was an early release for 2022 is when that game came out. So it's cool to know that we're getting more Legends games. I know a lot of people were always wanting Pokemon Legends to be a series, but we weren't sure if it was going to be a thing, because we had Arceus and then Sword and Shield, and then nothing else came out of it. So it looks like Pokemon Legends Arceus, or Pokemon Legends in general, is going to be an ongoing thing with these Pokemon games. Now, the question is, what's happening with Unova? Obviously, they skipped Unova. I don't know if they're going to touch Unova at all, to be honest. Unova was such a controversial, at the time when we were in that time period, Unova was such a controversial generation of Pokemon that I don't see them wanting to touch Unova for a bit. And in all honesty, it just doesn't make sense for there to be a Pokemon remake right now. These Pokemon remakes used to happen every 5 years. Now I know our whole timeline of events have messed up with the Nintendo Switch, because I'm assuming we all are considering the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee game a remake, and then obviously have the Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl remakes. Before that, Pokemon remakes used to come out every 5 years. 2004 was Fire Red, 2009 was Heart Gold, 2014 was Pokemon Omega Ruby, Sapphire, those games. Did you guys realize those came out every 5 years? Because when I tell people that, they're like, oh my gosh, Max, you're actually right. I'm the only one that's put that together apparently, because I've been telling people that and they're like, no, you're wrong. So the Switch would have had 3 remakes if they would have done a Unova game. It seems like Unova is just gonna be for the next Nintendo Switch. Even if they do it, I don't know, those Unova games are still pretty, I mean, they're not pretty recent, they are 10 years ago, but I just don't see it. I don't see them touching Unova for a bit. It's the next region, and I mean, they're touching Kalos, which isn't going to be a remake, it's a futuristic Pokemon. There's a lot of things they could do with this whole futuristic side of things. I'm excited to see what it ends up being, because I actually really liked Legends Arceus, so I'm a fan of the Legends games, and I am excited for this one. But yeah, that's all we had at the Pokemon presentation, surprisingly. But all I gotta say is, I was right. The presentation overall, though, they gotta do a better way of making the opening start, or the starting act of these Pokemon presentations. They gotta make it a way to make it good, make it interesting. I mean, at one point they were showing off the Pokemon Masters X game, and there was so much that they were showing that we were not able to process what we were reading. I was watching with Coleman, they were showing like 5 slides within 2 seconds. You got like, imagine my hands being images of different images that they were throwing on the screen. That's basically what was happening, and we could not see all that was happening because we just didn't process it, because every 2 seconds there was like new image. I don't know, not a fan of that. They need to do something. This Pokemon presentation overall was horrible, in my opinion. Truthfully, it was horrible. I had extremely low expectations because it's a Pokemon presentation. I don't think there's ever been a time that it was a good presentation other than the time that they announced Legend Arceus and the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl games. This was rough to watch, and I mean, truthfully, we didn't get much about that Pokemon Legends game, but we got the announcement, so that I'll give it probably like a 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10, I think, is a very fair score of what we watched. It does have me worried about the Switch for this year, because I thought for sure we were getting a Pokemon game for this year since we weren't getting the Switch 2. Oh wait, you know what? I wonder if this game got delayed potentially because the Switch 2 got delayed. Supposedly, the Switch 2 is delayed into March. Huh. A lot of questions. Well, no, there's no way they're going to release that exclusively for the Switch 2. Or they already said release simultaneously. It's going to be cross-hybrid if anything. Or it's just going to be, like we said earlier, an enhanced update. I don't know. What are you guys thinking about the Pokemon presentation? I think a 6 out of 10 is very fair. I think I could easily give it a 4 or a 5, but you know what? I'm going to be nice today. And yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. When do you expect to see Unova games onto the next Nintendo console, I'm guessing? And if so, when? We obviously are not probably getting another Pokemon game next year. It might just be this Legends game and that's it. Well, actually, they did do Legends and Scarlet and Violet within the same year. So there's a chance we're getting another Pokemon game next year. So maybe there's Unova remakes next year. I just don't see it happening. all I gotta say is I was correct. All my whole Discord server was like, oh, it's gonna be Unova remix, Max. There's no way. It's gonna be Unova remix. And I was like, no, there's no way. And I was right. I gotta be a video game journalist, I guess. I'm joking. I'm not doing that. Anyways, let me know what you guys thinking in the comments down below. / that subscribe button. Like the video. Check out everything in the description. Instagram, Discord, MONADO Marine membership, $5 a month. What else is in there? I think that's pretty much it in the description. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.